Hey guys, what's up? Chad Wesley Smith here, going to coach up some deadlifts as a part of Deadlift Week. So I'll just let this run through full speed, then we'll go back and watch it after that. Alright, so this guy is great off the floor, and then really struggled as soon as he crossed his knee, or as soon as he passed his knees. So as we look at this here, the things I'd like to see more from him are getting the slack out of the bar a little bit better. He kind of rushes the start of the pull a little bit, in my opinion. As his hips are higher than what I would normally like, but he does get good drive off the floor, so I'm not that concerned about it. But maybe let's bring the hips down just like an inch or two. And then as he crosses the knees here and really struggles with this lockout, if you watch Brandon Lilly's Deadlift 101 video that we posted earlier this week, Brandon gives a little trick on there that as they're getting close to locking the bar out, if he would drop his chin to his chest here, that would kind of roll his shoulders forward and essentially make his arms longer so he wouldn't have to pull it as far. But, he stays, so you can see here he's got his head back, all right, which is pulling his shoulders back and making his arms even longer. He's having to pull the bar farther up his thigh, where if right there he drops his chin, then his shoulders are going to roll forward, all right, and the bar is really not going to need to go any farther than where it is now for him to straighten his legs. So if we drop the chin there, and obviously you just need to address the lockout strength. And I think the best way to do that, addressing the lockout strength, is primarily to get faster off the floor, because the faster you are off the floor, the more momentum you're going to have to carry you through to the lockout. So we're going to get faster off the floor with speed pulls, with reverse bands, with pulls against chains. All those are good options. And then to specifically strengthen the lockout, he's going to want to do snatch grip pulls from blocks, fairly high volume there, sets of 10 to 20 to really build the upper back. And then to strengthen his glutes, doing barbell hip thrusts are going to be a great option for him there. And then just doing, speed deads or cat deads, compensatory acceleration, which I wrote about this week, and just, work on accelerating the bar through the top portion of the lift and really finishing those hips forcefully. I think if you watch Pete Rubish deadlift, he's a great example of finishing the hips forcefully when he's dealing with every weight, but particularly the lighter weights. All right, let's go to our next lifter here. So here's going to be a little bit more of a beginner lifter, and she's doing a set. So as we watch this set, the thing that really jumps out to me is all 5 of the reps look different from each other. If we broke this up into 5 separate clips, it looks like 5 different deadlifts. And that's just something that's going to come with the territory of not being as experienced. So I would advise our lifter here to instead of doing a set like this, because her technique's just not that dialed in, to rather reset every time and pull it like 5 singles instead of a continuous set of 5, because that's going to allow her to really focus on her technique more. All right, but as we're coming from the floor, let's go all the way back to that first one. All right, so she's getting set here. I'd like to see her be more active, straighten the legs out, and then drop the hips and go to get something out of the stretch reflex there. She needs to build up the upper back some just to be able to keep those shoulders back and lats, particularly lats flexed as she comes off the floor. A good cue on the lats flexed is if you have someone, is protect your armpits. If you have someone with you who basically tries to tickle your armpits in your setup, that's going to force you. It's going to force you to flex your lats. It's like a natural instinct, and it's going to create a tighter position off the floor. And that's kind of a goofy sounding cue. And then she really needs to put more focus to the bar speed to really finish the hips as forcefully as possible on every rep. On this one, you could see the bar drifting on her a little bit because her knees her knees come back too quick and the bar doesn't go with it. The hips are rising a little bit early, and the lockout's just a little bit disjointed. So I think the big things here to pull everything as a single, and then to focus on speed, speed, speed every rep all the way through the top. Accelerate it through the top of the lift. Don't get to just past your knees where you have mechanical advantage, and coast. Finish every lift forcefully. And I think doing it all as singles, the way that Brandon Lilly does his speed work, just those rapid fire singles, that's going to be probably your ticket here, especially because you are more of a beginner. You need more volume. So more volume is just going to give you more practice at the lift, but it's got to be perfect practice if you want the technique to get better. And here we go to our last lifter in the clip. Not the best angle, but with the sumo pull, so that it run through full speed. All right. So some of the stuff here is going to be a little bit hard to tell just because of the angle, but we'll do our best. All right, so what you really want to think about here in your setup is I'd like to maybe see his toes a little bit straighter, and then him trying to screw them into the ground to externally rotate his hip, which is going to create a lot more torque in the hip. And then as he starts to drop his hips here, his knees track forward a little bit. Really just want to be thinking about pushing the knees out, staying back with the weight as much as possible, keeping the shins as nearly vertical as possible. So pushing the knees out and then arching through the thoracic spine, the upper back. All right, and that's going to allow your ass to really act as like a counterweight. So as the ass starts to fall back, then the weight's going to start to come up because those are counterbalanced to each other. Bar could be a little bit closer to his shins in the start as well. That's one of the biggest things for the sumo deadlift, is keeping the bar as close as possible all the time. And then his head is kind of getting cut out of the frame here, but as you can see, his chin is way up in the air. If he was to do the cue that I gave earlier about dropping the chin to the chest, his shoulders would roll forward some, and he wouldn't have to pull the bar as far. But for the most part, very good. He finishes the lift real strong. Really drives the hip through at the finish. I think we just need to clean up the start position a little bit with the bar closer to the shins. Screw the feet into the ground. All right, and then push the knees out more and arch up through the thoracic spine. All right, because he even has a little bit of a rounded back position here. So we want to get flat in the low back and arched in the upper back, and then tuck that chin at the finish, and get those weights going up. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully you got something out of that.